forward because I'm a digital.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Mike. We're still waiting on one here to get going, and then as soon as David's here, then we'll get started.
Great.
Well, I'd be gratified that some really good
We
guy-
love having you, but also the quorum.
Much
Yeah. How's it going over there?
I think it's all sort of. Okay. No, I think it's getting sort of plenty of traction. I think again, I mean, it's anytime you get these, what they call a no tax increase bond issue, I think it doesn't attract as much negative attention. It's it's not free, but I think that pushing.
Mike, can you still hear us?
Doesn't attract as much negative.
Right.
attention.
All right. Well, let's bring this meeting to order. We've got 4, we've got 5. I'll go ahead and run it unless anybody wants to jump in on the meeting. All right, roll call. We've already done. Approval of the May minutes. So we've got 2 little issues with the May minutes. Does anybody remember seconding the approval of the April minutes?
Oh, I know I did.
All right, thank you.
Were you in that?
Pretty sure I was. So we'll put Josh in there on the second and on the.
I'm sure that was me.
All right.
I'll take that.
So we'll have Tracy in there for the second for adjourn. Any other corrections to those May minutes? Can I have a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Visitor comments, we do not have any this evening. Old business, I do not have any this evening. Does anybody want to bring anything back up? Moving on to new business. I do not have any. Does anybody else have anything that they want to bring up?
I had just have a topic, but it's
Sure.
more, I'm just interested in getting your guys' input. I'll just show this, which is not, this is how low tech I am, but if you can see this a little bit. You see it?
Fireworks.
Okay, pretty good commercial firework display. You can't see the little roof there, but that's my next door neighbor's roof. This was a between yards commercial grade firework display, and I know commercial grade because I was blasted by commercial grade. This was one wave of what they did. They probably did 8 waves like this. It started with just the simple ones, and then the last one was the grand firework, display at the end. So it
Where
was
was
the
that?
house on the
Your
corner.
neighbors, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, because I'm saying, I'm just wondering where.
So you know where your old house was,
Yes.
directly across the Rockies,
Okay.
who are no longer in the Rockies. Literally in the backyard. And they have a massive pool deck, which is wooden, and then a truncated little backyard, and that's what they were setting up. So here's my question. These are my neighbors. I have not yet knocked on the door and said what I'd like to say, or even what I wouldn't like to say, but this is my question, Scott. Fireworks run deep with me. I was in a burn stock for 7 months after that 2019 thing. I am very interested in just working on this issue. I think these people didn't realize they're newer to the neighborhood. They moved in since last 4th of July. So my question is, are there any things being done at the citywide level to discourage this? These were not the only people firing fireworks. This was the most egregious one that I could see, but they were raining embers on my neighbor's 1908, circa 1908 house. I called her and I said, "Are you guys watching this, Susie?" Because Susie and Steve Brown and Susie Goya, it was literally raining embers on the house.
So tell you what's hard about this. So you know where Joe Grasser used to live and the big house that now the classes are.
Yes.
Okay, so it's on the tennis court there. Certain people remain anonymous in addition to
Yeah.
Grasser might have also been there. We used to set used to set off fireworks there. Typically what we do is we get through about, half a dozen or 10 police would come and somebody would call the
Yeah.
police. And did you call the police?
I did.
they show up?
No.
Okay.
They almost hung up on me.
That's interesting because as I say, when it was, so on these games, I hear that when other people set off fireworks at the boss's house, the police would come every time. The joke was really how many did you get off before? At least what, and this didn't look
But
like
this,
that.
well,
These
and
were-
this, what I hear now is you can buy them, not that I know this, but one of my sons told me, you can buy them in like a commercial grade setup. So you light it and they, I mean, obviously somebody wasn't lighting these up one by one, because it was, I haven't counted the actual glass. But this was just one of their waves. They did probably 8 of those. So all told, if there were 20, that's a conservative estimate per wave, they set off 100 commercial grade fireworks.
That's wild. What time did they do that?
It was pretty late. When I called Susie to say, are you catching the embers on your roof? It was 10:40. So it was 10:30.
Yeah, I was going to say, 'cause I mean, we weren't out that day. We saw some.
Oh, and it was actually, you know what, it was the day before. It was Sunday. It wasn't Monday. So,
Okay.
yeah. But here's the deal. I don't want to be nasty about this, but this is different than I've seen before.
I've not seen anything like that before.
No, and you know, I saw the grass was thinking, we're like, ooh, it was like a 1 by 1.
There was. I mean,
Like
literally,
old-
what he'd do, he'd drive back in from. This is not for the minutes.
No.
Just being recorded.
Right.
Oh, Christ.
No, this is something you heard in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, it just legend in the neighborhood.
Yes, no, but I mean, it would be. I mean, you don't get the multitudes, but it would
Yeah.
actually be one at a time.
Yeah,
Go
and
through whatever you got. It wasn't
honestly,
a whole.
David, I don't think that that's a problem, because they were doing that also in the neighborhood. You know, like, I mean, you saw they were doing, but this is kind of nutty, and honestly, I don't know if there's any way to address it or see what we could possibly, the cops couldn't get everywhere. People are gonna start doing this kind of thing. And it was in such a congested space.
And that's, I would say, that's the biggest issue with police responses. They're so thin on communities because they've got half the staff's working carnival and such.
Right.
And then on the 4th, we've got carnival, and then we drag another third of them here for our fireworks show. But there's just people shooting all over town, which they are. They can't make it around. Stop. And then as soon as you leave, they leave. Folks wait 5 minutes. Wham, wham, wham. The next round. So
I haven't talked to Laura about this. She and I go way back because our stayed together. But my question is, do you guys think as concerned Webster citizens, this warrants anybody maybe looking at what other communities are doing, how we could enable fun, but maybe keep it safe? You know, I mean, never mind setting them off could, you know, damage and hurt a kid or their own home. But, you know, it'd be interesting for me just to be on a committee to maybe look at what other communities are doing, what we could possibly do, offer people alternatives if they really want to set them off. It's a particularly small yard. And honestly, the tennis court sounds safe. You're not
It
playing.
was safe. No, it wasn't at that level as well. It was, I mean, these were bigger than the ones you were going by here.
Yeah.
Actually in Kansas or Colorado or something by.
Yeah.
And they, you know, they were, I mean, they were more than Tuesday.
Yeah.
We used to refer to them as ordinance, but I mean.
It does seem like they're, you know.
But it was nothing at this song.
Yeah, that scale is a couple of more prevalent.
These look legit. I mean, these look like you could see it. You could see them in a small community.
But are you talking like something like officially from the Parks Commission or?
Well,
just
Parks wouldn't do the neighborhood stuff, but you're the only fireworks guy we got, so you know all the safety protocols you have to address, because you do have to light them off by definition in a neighborhood, you know, adjacent. So I guess that's why I'm bringing up here, you guys are a group of concerned citizens. I don't want to be a Karen. I don't want to be someone who's the only person riled up about this, and I realize I've got some trauma going with it. But at the same time, I don't want my neighbor's house to burn down on mine, you know, because who knows if a truck's gonna even come,
Yeah.
you know?
That's overrated.
Right, I know, yeah, right? And it takes how long to rebuild? Yeah, like.
No, it seemed presumably really what it should used to be is a city. I mean, you've got city ordinances, but it's more how do you enforce them, and then presumably you want to be enforcing them at the major level first. So that's
Well, I mean,
There's not anything
the
going on.
diabolical part of my brain started running the numbers, and I looked up some website that said you can issue fines in Missouri for permitted fireworks to the tune of $50 to $1,000 per incident. So I'm going 100 in this display, $1,000 a pop. I mean, you could potentially really fine somebody a measurable amount, and there goes our money problems.
Yeah.
If we can enforce it, But that was just the little diabolical, But I mean, if there was some way to just get the words out, by the way, we will be imposing fines on non-permitted fireworks this year if you get caught, that's the other problem. I mean, I haven't had this one on videotape, but who else is gonna be, a lot of them aren't gonna get.
What? I could certainly bring it up with our next department head meeting.
Okay.
So the fire chief, who's the one that actually issues the permits for firearms. so
Okay.
all the issues is us, I believe Alcon gets one.
Yeah,
And then police department, police chiefs there, he's be the one who enforce
right.
any laws that are broken, as well as city manager, public affairs director. Try to get all that information into one spot and see if there's a better way that we can publicize it next year about we put it out there that it is illegal, you can't do it. But
Yeah,
it's so
no.
hard to stop
10 beer and then
22,000
somebody-
people
Right,
trying to do it.
right. No, and who's gonna get caught? It was interesting that they
true.
did so many waves of this one, because I'm like, I had time to set up my camera, like get out there with my camera and videotape. Usually if it's just a single blast,
That's what was surprised me is they had to say it's going to.
this went on and on. It was staggering. I wish I'd gotten the grand finale because it was insane. But Scott, I'll send you this video. If you would just please, you could say in the park, but you can tell what the address is because you know where my address is, and it's 2 more houses down, but I don't necessarily want to blast them. But if you can say this was in a backyard with a wooden deck and very congested, and you can see the little outline when you look at it of my next door neighbor's roof and the Amber's roof on the neighbor. So anyway, thank you.
I will bring it up. It's a
You
jerk.
guys are better than a therapist session. Just make me feel all better. Don't push it. Nope.
This technically was new business from last time. Do we want to reconsider the pickup day in the park at all? I mean, we kind of tabled that, but summer's slowing down. I mean, I
Yes.
don't know if weeds are still a problem, but
I thought that
certainly.
was such a fun idea.
I mean, it's needed.
Yes, I would love, I would have dropped the ball on that with those other things going on. But yeah, we could pick a date in, in August, if you guys want to do something, prior to, Make a Difference Day, which is early September, right? But yeah, that would be great if folks want to help coordinate that. I can certainly get a list together. So there's dates that y'all love. You know what? We'll send out to for dates.
You had spirit the idea of was just one part to focus on. So
I think the first time, let's pick one park and go do that, and if we get a bunch of folks that want to come out and do it, or it gains traction because we get media on it, certainly publicize it before what we did, and how much better it looks when we're done with that. Slowly escalate that up to different parks or more parks per occasion, what have you.
Along those lines, I noticed, Scott, I'll send you a picture of this. While I'm here in Michigan, I was at the beach, and halfway down the steps to the beach, there was a little display, had some buckets and some picker-upper grabber things that you get at Walgreens, and some sand sifters and things like that specifically for the beach. But it was simply a public beach cleanup program. Grab a bucket, go pick some stuff up while you're here. Trust me, your kids are bored anyway because you're making them go on a walk. So give them something to do. Give them a grabber, give them a bucket. Got trash cans, we got recycling cans all throughout our parks. And they simply were just asking patrons of their parks to do their part. And it goes along with what we were talking about at the last meeting with, let's ask them for money. Let's give them a QR code. Let's make it easy for them. And I think it's kind of along those lines. We're trying to do more with less. With the park cleanup, let's, instead, in addition to some formal project days, maybe if the resources are just there for the taking and for the grabbing specific, then they'll use them. Maybe we can eliminate some of the need for the extra man hours and the time to do that sort of work.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you take pictures of that, I'd be certainly love to see whatever language you're using.
Yeah, I'll show you. I took a couple while we were there.
That'd be great.
I'll send them to you.
Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely.
One last question. Not necessarily business related, but full remodel, where are we at as far as timing to go?
So we are getting ready to start our master cleaning process now, which will last through the fall. And then we've got it in this year's budget. Once that is done, 23 budget, which I think until next year, to start the actual design phase, final design phase. So we can have that ready for fall of 23. So we can start publicizing for the bond issue in April of 2023. So we're 18 months away from a bond issue. So, cool. Any other new business? Alexander's.
Check to make sure she didn't pop online and I just never let her in, because that would be terrible. I did not.
Community's not here, so we move on to staff reports for Parks and Rec. That's me. Some of the big things you guys are most likely already aware of was the elimination of about 4 positions, or actually 4 positions in our department. So we eliminated 2. One of them was a park maintenance position that was become open in April, and one was our ED and weekly custodian position, which came open in May. We did not fill those. Those positions have been eliminated. And then we laid off our fitness manager and our administrative coordinator position. So out of 19, now we're down to 15 full-time staff. We're dividing up those duties best we can between the remaining staff. It's really admin coordinator. So kind of the biggest thing we're trying to do is automate as many of their duties as possible, which is kind of tough for custodian. But with our admin coordinator position, she did a lot of rental stuff, so we're really trying to push a lot of those onto our software platform, CiviCorrect. All of our pavilion rentals are now able to be 100% done online. You don't need to come in here and do anything. Select it, pay for it, everything. It's still set up for residents, non-residents, still can't bring pavilions. But that's up, so that's helping. We're trying to get as close to that as we can for our room rentals, our ice rink rentals, and our gymnasium. Ice rink is not open right now. This is our summer shut. So we shut 5 weeks of the summer. Yep, absolutely. So it's a little more difficult with rentals on those things. There's so many variations of how our room needs to be set up, or the timing between one rental and the other, whereas pavilions will be within once a day. Same thing with deposits. We're trying to automate, do different things about deposits, and speed them up each day. I'm all these deposits. So it's taking a little bit of time and trying to automate those a little faster. So some different softwares and machinery to make those. Good thing about part-time staffing is we're able to raise our part-time wages up to $13.50 an hour, starting July 1. So we're really hoping that helps us attract candidates and current employees. We're starting to see some slippage with current employees, jump ship, wherever else. raising that up. Hopefully gonna be beneficial for its long term. And we've already got a plane increase to take it up to $14 an hour. That'll be the last minimum wage increase over to Missouri passed. Community days went pretty smoothly. No major issues with any of the city events. I do wish the fireworks would have been a bit longer. Inflation caught up to us there. You know, we budgeted for fireworks in May, right? And so by the time we got around to ordering them and paying for them, they increased in cost quite a bit. So to stay in budget, we had to shorten our show. So our show is usually 18-ish minutes, close to 13 minutes. Yeah. Try to get some additional funds going for next year. Try to do, we used to get quite a few donations for fireworks, parade, and sponsorships and such. We did have a few moves this year. $7,500 sponsorships. The parade, big reason was the parade last year. Kind of the issues we had with certain
Right, Bill, felt like it was a lot of shows that this year as well. I was surprised there were, basically, bunch of politicians out there as well. You'd expect to see how big that was.
We had several that signed up, but only one show. So
What was the gap? If at the prices, I realize this isn't how it works. We're gonna.
So we paid the same amount, 17,500 last year, this year, and it's 500. So I'm sure their labor's gone up, but their cost of goods, specifically just getting the fireworks to Missouri. I know that they were stuck. They had a lot of show. They were worried that they were going to get fireworks. They were stuck in Port of Los Angeles, sitting on the boat in the water, couldn't get in the port. So, and then once they got in the port, they didn't have enough trucks to drive here. So they actually sent the truck from St. Louis to LA to pick up fireworks and drive it back. So their cost of transportation was probably double.
Right.
So we'll see. I don't anticipate them coming down in price next year, so we need to find more money. Parade was a little bit shorter, like you said. We normally have about 80 units on parade day, probably like close to 50 units. We had 6 or 7 no show day of. We had another 6 or 7 that backed out the week of. Several of those COVID related participants in that group.
I didn't get to go. What was the crowd? Same as
So we stand by, it's everywhere done, stand by the library.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was fairly, a bit surprising stuff like that.
Very.
But it's, yeah, that's the good, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty good all the way up. Big Ben was pretty packed, and then down here on Elm towards the end.
Yeah,
Pretty
we've
good.
always got that bit, it's never, never, Red March in there.
Yeah.
It's always been, yeah, you sort of see what-
Coming down the hill from Big Ben to you pass the highway up here in front of Dixon. A few folks to sleep there.
Hindsight, the race, that was a very long day.
Yeah. Last week, you guys probably saw in the paper that we are declining our municipal park grant that we got for the addition to the front of the meeting rooms for fitness studio. Fitness levels just have not come back from COVID yet, with the loss of participation and associated revenues, not having a fitness manager right now too. Just didn't make fiscal sense to me those participation levels come back up, we can certainly apply for it. Just determine to turn that back. Which is- we've been looking for that for 7 or 8 years, we've been planning on that, so it's tough. We finished on a strong note, on our fiscal year for Parks and Rec. Our total revenue at the end of the year came in at 2.1 million, on our estimates were 1.86 million. So we beat our estimates by 250,000 some odd dollars, so that was really good for us. So far, July, was really good. It was good with both day camps, crushing it. Day camp's been sold out pretty much every week. We've listed about 25 campers. We're actually looking at ways to increase the day camp for next year. Which should be a lot to have another 25 or 50 kids in Blackford Park and going on field trips. So we'll probably kind of split camps and have them both in Blackburn, but have them, the younger kids in one area, the older kids in another, kind of doing separate things. Maybe go to the pool on separate days, go on field trips separately. So trying to go around kids.
Pool, it seems to me, I mean, we're up at the pool a lot. It seems to me like it's been, last year it started off very strong. And it's seems like it's been going stronger this year. Is that, did the numbers bear that out?
Yeah, I would say the numbers do bear that out. I think part of that's been the heat. It's been a really warm year. It's over 100. We actually don't get as many folks as when it's 95. Psychologically, parents are just like, I'm not going to this. That's how I do it. Like at 90, I can go hang out, but at 100, we'll stay home. We're going to movies. So, but yeah, it's been doing really well. Freestyle pool pass is certainly helping draw hundreds of visitors to the pool.
Is that the one which is sponsored?
Yes.
So people need to go. Yeah, it seems like that. So that's been utilized more this year, has it?
Yes, it was really used well last year.
That's revenue too, and that's revenue to the whole. It's just somebody's got to sponsor.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably $5,000 so far in revenue. $6 a pop for residents or $9 for non-residents. So those passes for anybody that comes here to get them, or trying to ministries or give it out at schools. So, but yeah, I think the pool's really going well. We're having some issues out there. The music's been a little bit of an issue. I think you emailed me with the music. Cleaning duties with our guards has been a little bit of an issue. We have new staffs kind of every year. We have a new regional manager this year. Working out some of those bugs. Really, I think it's been pretty good year. It's kind of standard stuff, but it's the fact that it happens every year shouldn't be standard. It's like, come on, guys. You got time to leave, you got time to clean.
Our guys have a radio, like
Yeah.
just a lot of Band-Aids.
A lot of Band-Aids.
It's Band-Aids.
Yeah. Somebody should be picking those up instead of stepping over. That's one of my big pet peeves. Step over. So.
I noticed something that actually finally written no trash, just recycling. Recycling. It's my pet peeves is you open the recycling bin and it's not full of trash and wish we have. And I understand there are trash cans everywhere else, but a trash can next to the recycling can and help people try to do the right thing. And it seems like there's been less in the recycling cans.
We fight that battle everywhere in the parks as well. I think just they get mixed and,
The problem is soon get stuff there.
but even if they're right beside each other, they still trash and recycle. That works really well at home. It doesn't work so well. Unless you just have like, sport your life and just be in your box. So it comes to jump.
Do you know if the receptacles that have the very small openings, so you can fit it in, that kind of thing, do they work better?
They do sometimes. but,
Yeah. We're so
it's-
stuck in Or their dog food bag goes right in that little.
It's been better this year than it's been.
Yeah.
But I just, I read newspapers every day.
And then my last thing is storm damage from yesterday. We're still kind of analyzing what all damage we had. Deer Creek Park took a pretty good meeting yesterday. Deer Creek Park with Deer Creek.
Yeah.
If anybody went down there to see it, it was pretty crazy. The entire park was, well, not even the park, but it was out to Forest Avenue. 3 or 4 houses we really, really damaged over there. Yeah, because he knows, the old person, he knows it was under 3 feet of water.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so that's the one down, oh, right, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
That
not.
was, we'll have to take those on you, man.
Wait, I mean,
But, yeah, no, I hadn't, couldn't go, obviously couldn't get up, that's all I did.
I'd say we probably had a good 5 or 6 feet worth of water in the park over the baseball field, down at the bottom of Sled Hill. Sticks and trees, the bridge going between Lakewood and Webster, down there by the ball fields is currently closed because it's got so much junk on it in it. So we'll be cleaning that up for the next week or so. Hopefully, tonight we're probably another inch or 2 of rain. So hopefully that stays low. I've never seen the water that high as it was yesterday. Some folks that were down there were telling me 2014 it was, 14 years, 2008 or whatever, that it was about that high.
Don't remember how, I just remember it was very bad months before, but I was in the damage at the, that lumber yard.
Yeah.
From Bradford, and you just look at that and then stuff that's through, you just sort of imagine what the water comes down.
Yeah.
And then probably the one down by Trainwreck Saloon, that one's got hit
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, I saw pictures of train wreck. It was water inside a train wreck. It was like this. Yeah. The Burtwood Bounds hasn't finished up yet. The new $40 million project that they're doing to try to fix some of that creek issues, but they're still in the process of doing it. So that's a lot of water. That's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions. If anybody's got it.
Softball weights.
Yeah.
I think they're full to the brim this year, and next year. I mean, I think we have to turn away people this year to be at it. I know it's a lights issue, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's a bummer, because I think there's a good amount of folks that would still like to join, but
We usually have a night or two that are open, but it's, the weekends.
Yeah.
Monday through Thursday, is booked. Saturday, solid. Sometimes Friday goes, sometimes it doesn't. And, we have some Saturday, Sunday slots. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they
Yeah.
don't. But yeah, the one field at Blackburn is really the only one that has a fence that's big enough. You could almost play up here, but it'd be tight.
Yeah.
And then we've got youth sports that are playing up here most of the time. So yeah, there's only just so many fields and so many spots. Yeah, it's a good league. I played up here years ago. I got a bunch of friends that still play here. You're right. You sign up early.
how people were trying to get in, that's what they always said. You're working with parks, let me get in.
That's smart.
Sign up in March.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. It's not about the 4 positions,
Yep.
10 positions that were, I was just looking at them. Fitness manager, what does that mean in practice sense? What are you missing now? And how is that going to play out for people who use the fitness center?
So he was in charge of the fitness center and ran everything in there, hired instructors, paid instructors, took care of all of our maintenance needs, managed staff, as well as, he was in charge of the parade, which is 3 weeks, solid 40-hour week duties in June, so I took that on this year.
Just looking your free time.
Yeah, I'm a free time pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And then the
It's
other
been
one,
tough.
like park maintenance, you just said we gotta rebuild Deer Creek Park in the next week and you could use that park maintenance person. So, okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we weren't the only department that lost staff. Several positions that were vacant weren't filled throughout the city. There were several actual filled positions that were eliminated. We got to figure out a way to bring our expenses in line with our revenues citywide. 75-78% of our expenses are staffing. That's going to happen. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to manage everything. I'm worried with our fitness revenues and participation being down, not having someone
Right,
in
this
charge
is
of
like
that.
the last position.
Probably not going to be able to bring it back up, but that was when we were looking at positions. Fitness used to bring in $450,000 a year. Now it's bringing in $200,000 a year.
Can
That's-
you, use some of the community, like the comms, PR, position at City Hall to help with some of that? Or-
Yeah, I mean, Jenny's been helping us quite a bit on marketing and putting things out. Right now we're getting ready to put out our new brochure. So right now Nikki is basically doing fitness programming stuff. My ice rink superintendent and the maintenance staff over here is taking over the maintenance. Luckily, we've got some good part-time folks. We call them our preventive maintenance staff that work almost every day. So they're the ones that are in there really taking some of that equipment apart, backing out the dust inside the shrouds and the trailers and things like that. So they're the ones that notice things that are broken and need maintenance first usually. So they're instead of passing it on to the fitness manager, who would then fix it or call it in for service or pass it along to our facility superintendent and his team. So, but yeah, there's we're running around with our hair on fire over there. And it's our busiest season. When the pool shuts down and day camp shuts down, my recreation major here who does day camp stuff will get jumped in. She's kind of taking on rentals that our admin coordinator did. I'm taking on most of the admin coordinator duties as far as payroll things, daily deposits, things like that. So
Well,
I'm sucking up
I don't want to speak for
3
everybody.
or so
but,
hours
like,
per day into my day now.
if there's anything as a commission we can do. Idea comes to you and, the wee hours of the morning or something, oh yeah, we could try this, whatever. I mean, back you up. It's a little frustrating to be on this commission and know how dire it can be getting. It's not good.
Yeah, really rolling back COVID. If you can figure out a way to pull that off, or get everybody to come back the way they used to, with meetings and things like that. But I just think as a society, we've changed the way we're going to do things moving forward. And so, yeah, my task, your task, our task is to figure out a way to adapt to that. I don't think a lot of our rentals are ever going to do that. It's too easy for groups of this size to do Zoom meetings versus come and pay in person, or even up to 20-person small business meetings. So it's coming back anytime soon. You still get your wedding showers. Things of that nature. Anytime. Meeting at rentals. Fitness, same thing. Want Pelotons. You're working out outside or home or what have you. So
Well, the daycare's not.
it's not.
Yeah.
And it's
Right,
away,
yeah.
I've seen more people with masks on the last week than I've seen in the last 2 or 3 months. So we'll see how it goes going into winter. That's when fitness season picks back up. Really, we're always like summertime. So things. So winter starts cooling off in the fall. We'll see how fitness goes.
Well, compliment to your staff because I walked in the little wooded area in Blackburn today. All of the park looked amazing and the wooded area looked like it had just been driven.
Yeah.
Like it looked amazing.
It
So-
didn't rain on this half the time.
Right.
I really don't think it did.
Well, it looked really good. I was expecting all the park to be flooded off the path. So.
I was shocked by like our retaining area right out here with the right off Linden had 0 water. And it always holds water. So rain, Manchester Road and north of St. Charles. Well, that's all I have. So we can set our next meeting for Wednesday, August 24th. If I can have someone give me a motion for that.
So it's
Thank you. Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Hi.
And then someone would like chat. There we go. Right. All right, someone. All in favor of adjourning? All right.
Hi.
Mike, I appreciate you joining in from Michigan.
Absolutely. See you guys next month.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.